Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we got a review impressions of a pretty cool knife. This is the MachineWise Sonora. Alright, so today we're looking at the MachineWise Sonora. This is a really cool design. This is one of the first folding knives that I think MachineWise came out with, at least that I'm aware of. They started off making balisongs, which they're really well known for, and make some high quality balisong knives. So when, I think I was at Blade Show, Texas in 2024, and I was talking to Cole from Tri-State EDC, and the owner of MachineWise came over to Cole and was like, hey, I want you to check out this knife. And I was hearing him talk, and I wanted to listen in, but I didn't quite hear it, and I really wanted to hear more about it. And turns out, he was talking about the Sonora. This is an integral, made in the USA button lock knife. This was my 2024 best button lock of the knife of the year. It is also still one of the best best integral knife that I own in my collection to date. There's another competitor. It's not an integral. It's a Les George BECP. It's a good knife. They're two different types of knives, and so I don't consider them the same class, but they're both button locks, and they're both amazing. And they're my two favorite knives of button locks. They are both actually just a hair past the Mordax. The Mordax was my Bigfoot button lock knife forever. Couldn't find it. Love the Mordax. One of my favorite knives. Just think it's phenomenal. But this Sonora is just outstanding. So I got a chance to order one, and I originally had one. It was a below the 600 series. This is number 662, and it had a couple things. And I reached out to them, and they were awesome. I mean, I mentioned a couple things that happened. We talked, and and I gave them some ideas, and they've had feedback from different folks, and I don't know, just really nice guys. And they decided to go in a different direction and change some things. So they changed the geometry of the flipper. Now, they don't do jimping here, which, I'm a fan of jimping. I like jimping. I've always said I like jimping. They actually started doing jimping on their MachineWise Mojave. They didn't have this at first, and they went with that, which they felt like was something that they were willing to do. And they did their MachineWise very unique, very clean, very perfect jimping. I mean, if you're going to do jimping, this is how you do it, right? I mean, seriously, they're just their tolerances, their design is just stunning, just like the Sonora. So this was their first attempt, and I mean, if you're going to take a first shot at it, yeah, this is like a hitting a home run at first at bat. Okay, I mean, that really what they did. And they learn. They constantly improve this. This Sonora number 662 is way different than the first Sonora. So a different geometry, and it flips so much better. But the buttery action, you get that from the balisong knives that they've made. Beautifully dead nut centered. This is in 20 CV blade steel, which is just stunning blade steel. Beautifully polished, machine washed. It's dirty because I use my knives, by the way. I do use these knives. But this beautiful edge on there, the sharpening. Now it's thicker over here and thinner here. That's on intention the way you sharpen. Like if you use a guided sharpener, that's how you do it. It's kind of similar to what you see on the Tanto, like an Umnumzon, Chris Reeve Umnumzon, right? So this is a mid-tech, USA made mid-tech integral. The crazy thing about this is it's USA made integral mid-tech, and this was around $700 at the time when I got it. They're a little bit more now, cost of price, things getting more expensive. You can also get some really crazy anodization. Look at this anodization. I honestly love this anodization. I had a non-anodized one, and when I saw this, I was smitten. I was literally smitten to the point that I replaced the knife that I had with this one because I just love the colors on this thing. It's just freaking awesome. Just amazing. And I know this is before Blade Show. You may have seen it after Blade Show. Just today I saw their Instagram. They're bringing some crazy stuff to Blade Show. Oh my gosh. Damasteel, Timascus. They're going to be out of my price range. They're going to be dream knives. I hope I get to see it before they sell them. I'm sure they're going to be auction pieces, and I'm sure they're going to be crazy expensive. But, oh my goodness, they're gorgeous. Just stunning work. I just love it. Love their stuff. And when they decide to try something, they just knock it out of the park. Anyways, get back to focus. Squirrel. Sorry, guys. Squirrel. Name of the knife, the Sonora. Okay. The knife manufacturer is MachineWise. They're in Phoenix, Arizona. They're an Arizona company, USA made. Everything's USA made. The designer is MachineWise. It's an in-house design by the MachineWise themselves. Matter of fact, I've worked with pancetta knives out there as well. And another one of my favorite manufacturers out there is Edgar & Cole. They're out in Phoenix, Arizona as well. There's a lot of really good knife makers out there in that area. So it's just, dang. Anyways, so MachineWise, they really, really, really knocked this out. It is a reversible pocket clip, left and right carry. You have the T15 screw on top here. You have a T15 screw here. Beautifully done. I don't know if it's skiff caged bearings on the inside. I don't know. I've never taken this apart because I haven't had to. It's just absolutely perfectly, stunningly perfect. Dead nut centered action is just absolutely gorgeous. Just drops and locks in place. Just so sweet. The clip here is a milled pocket clip, even though it's reversible here. Really nice. Going in and out of the pocket, it's got this nice ramp, goes in and out really, really well. So it works in, holds solidly in the pocket. I love the milling here. They have a star pattern as well and some different anodization. I love this clean look. Now, for me, this clean look really highlights the geometry and the precision of this knife. You can get some inlays here. Some people will have, what is it? They will do something on here. I don't know where it is, but one of this will be a different material. Yeah, this material right here, it's a different material, whatever they use in here. And I think it's this piece right here. Some people have brass. I chose just a plain tie because I really like that. MachineWise, their logo, very simple, but beautifully placed. No over, there's not a whole lot of billboarding. Number 662, super small. It is 20 CV. HRC is 62.5. I've never had a 20 CV HRC 62.5. Let me tell you, I like HRC at 62.5. It is solid. It retains its edge. It's crazy sharp. It's been fun to cut with. It really has worked well. It's not chippy. It's solid. It's a beautiful heat treat. Beautifully centered blade. No issues whatsoever. No, everything just runs, just works. It's like everything I want it to be. Texture gives it nice grip. Nice hold on here, just feels really solid. With the button lock, it works really great, left and right handed. You have double deployment. You have the flipper, and then you have the button lock. So I could do the button lock like that, or I could do the flipper. Both work really well. Solid deployment. Just love this. And it's very fidgety all day long. So I love this. Yeah, I'm doing this left-handed because I'm trying to get the angle for the camera here. So when you get the angle for the camera, it's not necessarily the angle that how I normally would flip. It's the way I would flip. You wouldn't have a good view of it. So, but yeah, just really solid. Everything you feel as you put your hand around there, there's no crazy sharp spots. And I mean that. When you handle a knife like this and there's nothing that gets you, that's impressive with an integral. That's impressive with all this machining and tight tolerances. Just, I mean, look at that. Look at that. Just, it is just really impressive all the way around. So yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Opening, closing, button lock, 20 CV blade steel, stone wash, beautifully polished, beautifully flat, full flat grind. Absolutely gorgeous. Knife is all the way in there. I don't have access to do a bonus flip. That's okay. That's okay. The clip is outstanding. The milling on and the texture all the way around. Texture on the clip is just lovely. Just lovely. Captive pivot, even that is stunning. Beautiful, beautiful finish everywhere. The button lock engages in there. It is solid. There's no play. There's no pivot play. When it locks, it's fully engaged. There's no movement. It doesn't move around. It's just really, 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 really well. What else do I like on here? Yeah, this right here is just gorgeous. This integral and the way they did this, I just really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it a lot. Just really, really nice. Just really nice. You can choke up here on this. It's like a trigger choke. You could do it if you wanted to. And just be careful. You get close to that sharpening choil, but you could do it. You could, right? So like if you had to do a little precision cut like that, a little pinch cut, you can. This blade is hardy, it's thick, it's nice, but it comes down to a beautiful thin edge. Really nice and slicey. Really nice and slicey. Feel like it's just, it's meant to be hard used. It's one of these knives that's not just dainty, right? As a button lock, a lot of times button locks, I'm not a super fan of a lot of button locks. Most button locks, I feel like everyone got into it, and they tried to make this like super whatever button lock. If you're gonna do a button lock, you got to make it solid. And I think the 3 people that I really like the most in button locks, just right now, my favorite 3 button lock makers are going to be MachineWise, ProTech. Now, I love the Malibu. It's not an ergonomically comfortable knife for me. That's why I love the Mordax. I also like their new TR3. Matter of fact, I had one, and then I gave mine to my son for a graduation present. And I love that knife, but I love my son more, and so he's going to have that knife, right? Then I also have the VECP by Les George. Love that knife. That was gifted to me. That's a very special knife. So those are all amazingly solid button lock knife makers, and very impressed with these guys. I feel like if you like this design, you like the look of it, even a little, you're going to be more impressed as you handle the knife. It's really worth it. If you go to Blade Show and you've never handled a MachineWise, go to their booth. Go try one out. You won't regret it. I don't think you will. Now, if you don't like their aesthetic, that's fair. You know, there's some knives I don't care for. There's just some designs I will never get. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. It doesn't mean I can't appreciate their quality and what they make, but they're not my aesthetic, and that's okay. Right? But I don't feel like you can deny how well these are made. That's just my personal opinion there. Opening and closing, blade, everything's super solid. Everything's great. It closes, it drops. The action is beautiful. As long as you get your finger on there, it opens up every time. I will say the only thing I wish they would consider at some point, I know it's their design. They can do what they want. Absolutely. Maybe just one line of jimping. And the reason why I say that, let me show you. This is the Tasca. This is a Czech Republic knife. It's a custom knife made by R&H Knives. Love this knife. Super awesome. Everything about this knife is fantastic. Now, I put a single line of jimping on here because my finger kept slipping. And it was very annoying. But I put it right on the very, very edge where it doesn't interfere and the aesthetic flows. And the thing is, every time I put my finger there, it never flips off anymore. It never slips off. It's perfect. And it's a very minor, minuscule, very little line of jimping. Single line of jimping. Doesn't even, it flows with everything else on this knife, I think, beautifully. So I really like that. I think they could probably do their magic that they do over here, because this is perfect. I don't think they need to do all of this over here. If they just did one line right here, one line, that would be absolutely perfect. Matter of fact, at some point, I'm probably going to take this blade apart, put it in my vice grips, my padded vice grips. When I get my whole thing set up, I'm going to have it perfectly aligned, and then I'm going to take a very slow process like I did on this one, which took some time because I don't have a machine, I don't have any of that. It's all hand done, so I got to be very careful and very slow because I don't want to mess it up. But I'm going to put one little line right there, and I bet you it's going to make this knife, like, it's already super enjoyable, but it's going to make it even more super enjoyable. But it's my knife, and I could do it if I want, right? We can all you can send this off to a modder and they could anodize it, do something fancy with it. That's my right. Now, I will tell you, MachineWise does some really cool anodization. So if you want them to do the anodization, look at their drops. They have some really, really cool colors. I like the plain one. I do not regret buying the plain one. I do not. I never regretted buying the plain one of this. But then I saw this, and then I was like, oh, okay. And so I sold the other one so I could have this, because I love this. This is just so great. But I was happy to sell the other one to get that. That was worth it. Maybe there'll come a day when this will be the same for this one here, but I don't know. This is one of the first ones that came out after they changed the design, and I talked to them. It was a real honor to talk to them about this and kind of have a little, I don't know if I had influence, but they listened, which to me is the most awesome thing in the world, that a company would actually listen to you, and they would consider it, and then they made some changes, and that to me is super cool. I respect the snot out of these guys because of that. So this knife is real special because this was right after they made the change, and they sent this to me for me to try out and see what I thought. Right after they did the change, it was starting in the 600 series, and this was amazing. Absolutely stunning. Absolutely amazing. They also went away from MagnaCut. I don't know if they had some issues with MagnaCut. They felt like 20 CV was a better steel for them. That's great. Now, do you know what they're doing now? And it's driving me nuts in a good way. They're doing S90V. I don't like You know, I like collecting different Spydercos because I can mod them. They can be completely different. But that could justify having a 20 CV and a really cool anodized S90V with a different texture. I don't have the money for it right now, but definitely in the future path, future goal for sure for me now. Absolutely, for sure. Because I think S90V, their S90V, they heat treat really well too. And I can only imagine how awesome that's going to be. Because 20CV is great, it's a great edge retention, but S90V is just a step more. 20CV is going to be a little tougher. It's not super tough, but it's a little tougher than S90V. But S90V is definitely going to be retain its edge longer. So there's that benefit. Both great corrosion resistant. S90V is going to be a little more corrosion resistant. So, you know, it's worth having a different steel, right? I know they're going to be doing it in the Mojave as well. So that's so also very tempting. So, yeah. All right, so we're talking about this, man. I am going off on this knife because I love this knife. It is really one of my favorite button lock knives out there. It was a 2024 favorite button lock that they made. I think they just did such an outstanding job on this knife. Just really, really so smooth. I mean, as it drops, you just feel the buttery goodness of this knife. It's satisfying. It's satisfying. So, yeah, blade, love this. It's technically, it's almost a flat back, but let's see if I can show this. It's almost a flat back, but it's not. You see that? So it's technically a drop point. It's technically a drop point, but it sure looks like a flat back, but it's not. Beautiful, nice belly on the blade, nice straight. I mean, this is just such a very useful tool. Really great blade shape. I love this blade shape. Love the look of this blade shape. Love the feel of this knife itself. I got large hands, big meaty fingers, plenty of room here. Choke up, plenty of room here. So I can choke up here. Got a little extra room for extra large hands with big meaty fingers. Remember, this is about the size if you have an extra large hand with regular size fingers, a double extra large hand with thinner fingers. This is about where you're going to grip because my hands are pretty meaty right there. At least the fingers are. All right, and you could choke up. And especially if you got the regular or the thinner fingers, you're definitely gonna have all that room. So definitely worth it. All right, so let's do a little bit of measurements because I haven't gone there yet. I've been just going gaga and goo all over this knife because it's great. I like it. I like it. It's one of my most enjoyable purchases of a button lock. 3.2 ounces, which is phenomenal. 3.2 ounces. I mean, it's an integral. So when you look at this, you see it's a solid piece, but it's a very thin piece. You see how thin that is? That really is pretty outstanding. That's why, you know, you got to make sure this is rounded. There's no sharp edges. This right here gives it almost a contoured feel shape down here. And this is where it's thicker, but they get all that weight relief by cutting this out. And you can just see that. Look at that. So, and that gives you your structural integrity down here. Makes it really nice and solid like a backspacer, but it's an integral. And then this is pretty thin down here for weight relief. And that's really, I don't know, pretty friggin' phenomenal if you ask me. All right, so let's do the overall length on this knife. Ooh, let the go before I locked it. All right, so this overall length on this knife is right under 8 inches. It's at 7, well, I want to say 7 3/4, but technically it is 7 15/16. 7 15/16. It's just under 7 7/8. Definitely just a hair past 7 3/4. The handle right here, going from this area to here is about just a little over 3.5, so maybe 3 5/8. But if you do the choke up position, you have about 4 3/4, 4 3/8. Sorry, 4 3/8 of room. So definitely room for a bigger hand. The blade from the tip to the back here is about 3 3/8 is the overall. The cutting length is also exactly 3 3/8. So, you know, just keep that in mind as far as your knife flaws are concerned. Now, it is not a super thin blade, but it's beautifully flat grind all the way down, so it comes to become a beautiful slicer. But it's not crazy thick. So what are we at? 115 thousandths of an inch. So 101 thousandths of an inch. So this is one of those knives because it's so thin already, so precisionally run. I mean, if they have one mistake on this big block of titanium, they have to scrap the whole thing, right? It's not like you get one scale, one or the other. It's one big piece here, right? So they don't get a choice in this. You don't get to redo this, right? So that's how that works. Just really stunningly interesting. Now you do see some mill lines in there, and it almost looks like a line, like two pieces come together. But that is definitely not that, because that is one piece right here. Right? That is one piece. Yep, that's one piece. Probably how when you mill down like this, you can have a bit that's touching the bottom there. But it is an integral. It is a full integral because there's no separation back here, just so you know. Very thin blade, relatively speaking, but it's a thin scale. And so that's what gives it the really fantastically lightness. And so our center of the knife is about right here. So when you grip it here, this feels very balanced. Choke up, it's going to feel a little back heavy, but there you go. All right, where does this knife fall into? The category is definitely custom mid-tech. It's over $700. They're about $725 now. Some of them are even more, depending, and prices are going to go up depending on inflation and stuff. Titanium's not cheap, right? This is grade 5 titanium. You're dealing with 20 CV blade steel. Now with Crucible being bought out and Niagara Steel having to outsource some of these things, you might have a variant of 20 CV, some new steel. Like they're talking about Magnamax and some new steels that are going to be coming out this year. It's going to be kind of interesting. So, yeah, I don't know if it'll be called 20 CV, but it'll be equivalent to 20 CV. Just like you have 204 CP, LC204. Oh, 20 CV and M390 are pretty much the same steels. They're just made by different manufacturers. There's another one out there. LC200N is a very corrosion resistant steel, but it's not the same thing. It is something 204P, and I can't remember. I'm so sorry. My brain just went dead. I'll have to look it up. But they're very similar steel, so I don't know if they're going to have something, a variant of that. So again, as you can see, great geometry if you put your finger on there, but if I go right at the edge, I do slip still, and that's why I feel like one little line of jimping is going to be perfect for this thing, and I'm going to do that because I love this knife. And I feel like once I did it on this knife, I knew that made the world of difference. I feel like it's going to just be amazing. But it's not for everybody. You can get maybe a modder, somebody to do it for you, right? You can ask them. They might be able to do that, so just, keep that in mind. There are people out there who do that stuff. I don't. I do it personally, take my own risks. I'm not, I'm learning. I'm willing to risk my knife. I'm not willing to risk your knife. So there you go. Really cool. Definitely mid-tech, like I said, 700 plus range. Purpose EDC hard use collection piece. Absolutely could be a collection piece. For some people, this will be a safe queen. They'll never use it. I carry every knife I own, especially if I enjoy it. So I have carried this knife quite a bit. I take care of it. I don't beat it up, bang it up. I'll have a beat up knife with me if I'm going to do anything. I open boxes, letters, envelopes, cases of water. That's about it. I'm not going to go chop branches with it, but I very much do carry this knife, and I very much do take care of it because I really enjoy this knife. So very enjoyable knife. I love having this on date nights and stuff, so I think it's a great knife for that. All right. EDC, absolutely. Hard use, yeah, hard use for a button lock. Remember, right tool for a right job. Button locks are never meant to be chopping kind of things. They have a spring that's in there, and the button has a plunge lock. The plunge lock is pushed down by a spring, and with any sort of vibration motion, it can travel up on the little funnel that the plunge goes into, and it could gradually pop up and then disengage. So vibration is never. This is not meant to be like a chop kind of knife, right? Because you could theoretically disengage that button lock at some point, and then that button lock would just, you don't want to cut yourself, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, the nice thing about a button lock like this, you have a finger guard, so you might keep it open, but again, use the right job for the right tool. This is a great knife for utilitarian stuff. It is not meant to be a bushwhacking kind of knife. Just my opinion. I've never recommended a button lock knife as a bushwhacking type of knife. Some frame locks might be able to do a good job. I always think a fixed blade is really what you need for those scenarios, but if you're in a pinch, you can make anything work. Just know the limitations of your knife and the lock, right? I think it's a great design. They execute this really well, but any button lock, even the Les George VECP, even the ProTech Mordax, I would be more inclined to use a frame lock, more inclined to even then use a fixed blade, whatever the scenario is. Just my 2 cents on that. But still great for EDC, hard use as far as office around the house, cutting cardboard. I have done all of that with this thing, and it works fantastic. It retains its edge great. The stone wash finish, you can't even tell that I've used this. I mean, it looks brand new, but I've used it. I've carried it. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Strop it up, edges right back. No issues. I hadn't had to resharpen this at all. I regularly strop my knives, so I rarely have to reprofile an edge. Usually when I have to reprofile an edge is, I've gotten a manufacturer edge that was double sharpened. I actually had a really fancy custom one that I had to redo that on. It was kind of weird, but it was a reason why I got a good deal on a knife that was surprisingly reasonable price. And then I found out because I had a double edge, and once I fixed it, outstanding edge. But I could see if someone had the knife and it didn't cut like they wanted to cut, and they felt like, what's going on here? That would be the reason. And that I could see them being like, feeling like there's something off. And there was something off, and I fixed it. But this one's been perfect. Their edges are just on this and the Mojave. Now, I've had 2 Mojaves and the Sonora. I've handled 2 Sonoras and 2 Mojaves. So I've handled 4 of their knives. They've been all outstanding as far as edges. Really fantastic, right? Overall design. Let's talk about that. Handles, outstanding. The jimping, the chamfering, the softening of the edges, the corners, is just so wonderful that it just is great. Opening, closing, beautiful for the button lock. And the button lock also works like if you need it to as a regular button lock opening. It's fantastic. Texturing is fantastic. Beautiful micro milling texturing. I don't know if you can see that. It's absolutely stunning. I don't know if you can see that. It's even on the clip right here. Do you see that? I think it's just absolutely stunning. Right there, you can see that on the button lock. The button lock even has that kind of circular machining. I think that's really, really nice. Really gorgeous. I love the milling back here. A very simplified logo. Beautiful here. The milling on the clip. Just really, really nicely done. So that's great. Jimping, there's no jimping on this one. There's texture, but there's no jimping. But to me, it makes sense on a button lock not really to have a whole lot of jimping, because you're not going to do a lot of hard work. This is more of a cut letters, boxes, envelopes, packages, cases of water, nothing crazy. You're not chopping branches down with this thing. I mean, I guess you could, but I wouldn't do it with a button lock. I think there's a better tool for that. But, to me, I'm okay without it. But it's also pretty broad back up here, pretty flat, so you do have a nice surface area. It just keep that in mind. It's not texturing there. The Mojave has insanely fantastic texturing on there. Even long texturing there and texturing back here for a reverse cut or a pull cut. It's this, yeah. So a frame lock, get a frame lock for some of that hard work. And lo and behold, another machine knife, a Mojave, would be fantastic. But this button lock is just so nice and elegant. It's a really great knife to carry on date nights to the office. It's just a really classy, nice knife. It's not it doesn't freak people out. Very easy to operate. If I ever share it with people, all I tell them is, flipper, button, that's all there's to it. Super simple. You don't have to touch the blade ever. It's nice. So there's no room for a lanyard. I mean, technically, you could do a lanyard right through there, and I guess technically that is officially a lanyard because it is behind the blade. So, I mean, it doesn't really scream out lanyard to me, and it's very hidden, and it's very subtle, and now that I look at this, I go, that is pretty freaking ingenious. I've owned this knife, I've carried this knife for over a year, love this knife, and I've never noticed that that's technically a lanyard hole. And done so well that the lanyard coming through is never going to get close to the blade. Another surprise. It's kind of like you own a car for a couple of years. You discover you have a feature in that car that you never knew you had. And you're like, man, I wish I knew about that feature 2-3 years ago. I hate and love that because it's like almost like you discover a whole new thing in a car. I love it, but it's like frustrating because it's like, I didn't know that. That's how I feel there. So if you're a lanyard person, that's a really cool lanyard. I think you're going to like that. So definitely thumbs up there for sure. The clip, outstanding, goes in and out really nicely. Mine was just a tad bit sharp there. Just filed it down to perfectly fine now. I'm sure from everybody telling me that they've had no issues with this, I think mine was just probably an exception, or before they changed that, they just get better all the time. Like their clip over here is just, it is beyond amazingly perfect. Chamfered, no sharp edges. It's like just every perfect way. So I'm sure their clips on the newer Sonoras are just ridiculously amazing as well. So yeah, really, really nice. That was about the only thing, and I fixed that very simply, just a nail file. It's super simple. It was just a little right there and cleaned right up. That's why one of the reasons why I like to get plain titanium. If there's ever an issue like that, there are things I can fix and it doesn't show up, and it fixed really well. All right, overall feel is just great. Opening and closing, it's just really, really nice. Just the way a button lock should be. Really is like a standard for a button lock. Fidget factor. The button lock is done so well, and it's so smooth, and it's so nice. I'm going to give this a 4. I'm going to give it a 5. I know, that's a little insane. I'm going to give it a 5. It's just that good. And it's just so smooth. It's so smooth. My Mordax is really smooth. I love it. The Les George is amazing. I love it too. But this is just really amazing. I love it. So I'm a big fan. Big fan. I like button lock flippers. I will tell you that. I'm a big fan of the flippers. I wouldn't mind getting a thumb stud on one, but the flippers, they work nicely on button locks. But I'm going to give this a 5. What do I think the fidgety goodness? 100%. Absolutely 100%. 100 stinking percent, no questions asked. Highly recommend it. Absolutely recommend this. It's absolutely my favorites. It's in my collection piece. It's one of my top 20. It's staying in my collection. I love this thing. So definitely a collection piece. Definitely staying in my top 20. Definitely favorites. Really, really would recommend you check it out if you haven't checked them out yet. Get your hands on one. Feel it. Experience it. I think it's a great knife to have in collection. If you like button locks, if you absolutely hate button locks, you probably don't want any button lock. But this would be the one button lock that if you were even slightly open to button locks, but you're not, always felt like a lot of button locks weren't delivering, this one will deliver as far as I'm concerned. It really delivers well, above and beyond. So recommended, a favorite, 100%. All right, that's my thoughts on this. Let me know what your thoughts are. Love to hear your experiences with your Sonoras, if you have one, or your thoughts of getting a Sonora, or if you've handled a Sonora you didn't like it. If you had a, Sonora that's lower than the 600 series, it will have different action. It will be a different flipper. It's definitely a different geometry. And I can tell you, I had my first Sonora was below that, and it was very different. This is much more pleasing to use, this Sonora. Personal experience. And having been involved with them and working with them on some of those ideas on how that could be changed a little bit, and then they came up with this. Now notice, this is what they did. Here's the center of the pivot where the blade actually pivots around. You see the flipper, it's above the center of that pivot, which means you have leverage. And if you know anything about pulleys and levers and everything, this gives you a much stronger, much crisper, much more controlled deployment or actuation of opening the blade. If it's lower, you've got to have certain geometries in place to give you more leverage for it. You can be closer and higher and it works really well, or you have to be further away and you have to kind of give enough momentum to cause it to come ground, right? So those are the two ways to do it. And they did a great job. I just really did a great job. I like it. Again, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your experiences. Love to hear it. If you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the channel really helps me out, allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone out there who watches the videos, enjoys the content. It's part of the community, part of the live streams. I appreciate you guys so very much. I really do. Thank you. Sincerely, thank you. If you haven't already, maybe consider hitting that notification button down below as well, so you can be notified of future content. Yeah, anything coming out, I'd love for you to, check them out. Also, a big shout out to all my channel members out there. I appreciate you guys so very much. You do two amazing things. You encourage me. I don't do this full time, I'm part time. And so you always help remind me why I enjoy this. And I appreciate that. And secondly, because of your generous support, you allow me to do things that I didn't think I could do at this point in my channel. And I'm grateful to you guys, sincerely. You allow me to do weekly budget banger giveaways, and for that I am again extremely grateful and humbled and honored. I appreciate you guys for that so very much. Thank you. You also allow me to check out knives, do things that I didn't think I could. There's a lot of cost to cover in shipping. Some knives are very expensive to look at, and pass around. Sometimes they send a lot of knives, right? And then you got to send a lot of shipping. It adds up $200, $300, $400 a month in shipping sometimes. You do big giveaways, a lot of shipping. You channel members are a big part of that. And I just really want to say thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that support. It means the world to me. And so it's a small way for me to say thank you to you. I do 2 exclusive things for you. I do a once a month members exclusive giveaway. It's above a budget banger, usually $100 to $300 kind of something cool for you guys, just exclusively. So we'll do the budget banger giveaway each week, but once a month. For that week, when we're doing the members giveaway, there'll be 2 giveaways. There'll be one for everybody, and then one that's for everybody, for the members, and for the one for everybody, and then for the members. So the members have 2 chances to win. I mean, you could be a member and win twice in that week. You're not excluded from the regular giveaway, right? You're eligible for both, but you're only eligible. Only you guys are eligible for the members giveaway. The members, right? So there is that, and that's my small way to say thank you to you. The other way, the other thing I do is also like to send all new channel let me try that again. Let's start that over. Channel members. The second thing I also would like to do is send you a channel sticker and a little thank you note. If you would email me your name and address, that way I could send you a channel sticker and a little thank you note, and that kind of extends out to anybody who's never received a channel sticker, never asked for one, right? So if you never asked for one, you never received one, email me your name and address. I'd love to mail you that channel sticker and thank you note, as long as you're currently actively a member right now. That's the only thing I ask. You be actively channel member right now, and I do check that. If you request it, I'll go look to see if you're actively a member. If you're not, I can't do it. But if you're a member, yeah, absolutely, 100%, right? And that goes for anybody. I mean, 99% of the time it's new members, but it could be someone who's a member all along and never asked, or someone who was a member and then became a member again. You're all eligible. Love to send you that channel sticker. Also, if you haven't checked me out, check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.